What happens in Vegas ruined my wedding. I found out what really happened at my fiancée's bachelorette trip. I used to think the phrase cold feet was just about weddings, pre-ceremony jitters, dad jokes about last chances, champagne nerves. Turns out cold feet can also mean standing barefoot on your kitchen tile at 2 a.m., reading an email that will end your engagement, feeling the chill crawl up your legs and settle somewhere behind your ribs, heavy and permanent. I'll back up. I'm 32. My fiancée, ex-fiancée now, but for the sake of timeline, I'll call her my fiancée, was 30. Her name is Kylie. We met 4 summers ago at a trivia night, where she corrected my answer about which planet has the longest day. It's Venus, and then apologized for being a know-it sometimes. Her hair did that thing where it escapes the clip like it's staging a prison break. I was gone immediately. Fast forward to cohabitation, a dog named Pepper, who thinks she's a legal tenant, and a small, surprisingly meaningful fight about whether bath towels should be folded in thirds, her way, or halves, the correct way. We argued about paint colors, learned each other's coffee orders, built IKEA furniture without breaking up, the domestic Olympics. I proposed on a gray January afternoon in a park walking Pepper, which sounds depressing unless you've ever lived through one of those bright, gray winter days where the air tastes clean and the world looks honest. She cried, said yes, put her mittened hand against my face the way she does when she's trying to memorize me. There was no photographer hiding in the bushes, no viral reels, just 2 idiots shivering and laughing. Perfect. Wedding planning ate our lives. I'm not here to complain. We did it to ourselves. Venue tours, DJ samples, the great chair debate, Chiavari versus Crossback, became a referendum on our entire aesthetic compatibility. Kylie's a designer, and she has opinions the way the ocean has water. I learned to say things like linen weight and mean them. Meanwhile, my mom tried to gift us a Unity candle that looked like a freshman dorm craft project, and I practiced my "we love it but no" face. The bachelorette bachelor plans arrived like twin comets. Her maid of honor, Tessa, is one of those hyper-competent people who runs group chats like a small government. Within a week, she'd booked a house off the strip in Vegas with a pool shaped like a comma, a neon sign for photos, and an itinerary that used words like day club and dinner-riz and bride vibe. My friends, not to be outdone, planned a low-key mountain weekend. Hiking, a cabin with a too-big fireplace, steaks, dumb card games. Stereotypes reversed, I know. It suited us. Kylie floated around the apartment humming, doing those little pre-trip rituals that make her feel in control. Packing cubes, face masks, decanting shampoo into tiny bottles like she's refueling jets. We're going to be tame, she said, eyes bright. Spa day, a show, maybe some dancing. Tessa read the Vegas Regrets subreddit and made a spreadsheet of rules so no one goes feral. I laughed. She sent me the rules. They were reasonable. Stay together, check in, no leaving with strangers, no tattoo shops after midnight. There was a line near the bottom that I skimmed and didn't register. No phones allowed in private spaces. Photo-free zones marked. I didn't flag it because I trusted them, because I was an idiot. The week before Vegas, there were small shifts. Kylie started leaving her phone face down more than usual. When I walked in the room, she'd sometimes lock it mid-scroll with that casual, practiced thumb movement you only develop if you've been doing it. I told myself she was hiding bachelorette surprises, tacky sashes, glittery swimsuits, the kind of props you buy ironically and then commit to. She had a new perfume, sharp and bright, not her usual warm vanilla. Travel scent, she said. It's a thing on TikTok. You associate smells with trips. I nodded like a man who understands the science of memory. She left on a Thursday with a suitcase that looked like it contained enough fabric to clothe a small town and kissed me at the curb at 6:02 a.m. Be good, she said, teasing, and don't let Pepper bully you into a third breakfast. Pepper sneezed like she'd been slandered. I watched Kylie's ponytail swing as she disappeared into the automatic doors and felt that proud, soft ache you get when you're happy for someone you love. I texted, "Have fun, hydrate, SPF, love you." She replied with a plain selfie and 3 words, "Back Sunday night." Friday night, The guys and I grilled and talked smack like we were still 22, then all went to bed at 11:40 because we are not. I woke up Saturday with a hangover made entirely of salt and pollen and checked my phone. Nothing from Kylie yet. I sent a morning and got back a photo of a brunch plate that looked like someone had arranged edible flowers by Pantone code. Dead from last night, lol, she wrote. Pool day and show tonight. Tessa texted a group check-in to their chat, I only saw it later, with emojis that looked like hieroglyphics for "we're alive." Saturday evening, while I was losing at euchre to men I consider friends, and therefore enemies, my iPad chimed from the kitchen. We keep the thing basically as a recipe book and pepper photo frame. Kylie uses it to watch baking shows while she bakes things that require 14 egg yolks and artisanal sorrow. I glanced at the screen as I walked past to grab more chips. A banner notification flipped down and then back up, because Apple designs everything to both show you and not show you your own doom. I caught 3 words: private story update. Then another: Vegas proofs. I didn't click because I don't have her passwords. She doesn't have mine. I'm not a snooper. I make a point of not being a snooper. I went back to losing at cards. At 12:43 a.m., after everyone crashed, I cleaned up and sat on the floor with Pepper, scrolling and not really looking at anything. The iPad chimed again. This time it was an email. Subject line: Bach Bash Vegas Proofs. Kylie's crew. Sender: some photography studio. We talked about hiring a photographer for an hour to do group pictures, a trend I find both deranged and, apparently, very normal. What I didn't know was that the proof link would be sent to our shared household email, the one all vendor quotes and registry junk land in. I tapped the notification. It opened. Mail. There it was. A clean, polite email with a WeTransfer link and a password. I stared at it for a full minute, my inner lawyer arguing with my inner human. I didn't have to open it. I could wait. Trust. Drink water. Mind my business. I also did not have to walk into traffic, and yet sometimes a person steps into the road because the brain says, maybe the car will swerve. I clicked. Password field. In the email, password: Kylie's last name loves Vegas. On brand. I typed it. The little dots on the screen felt like beats of a drum. The link opened to a grid of thumbnails. Neon and glitter, pinks and blues, the staged chaos of photo booth party energy. The first few were harmless and glossy. The group on the strip, all in matching white boots. Kylie in a tiny veil. A sign that said, bride in script that made my teeth itch. Tessa doing the most with a foam finger. A poolside shot that looked like an ad for SPF malpractice. I exhaled, tension leaving my shoulders like steam. I swiped. A shot of them at dinner. Kylie mid-laugh, eyes crinkled the way they do when she's not thinking about what she looks like. A staged cheers with glitter champagne flutes. A candid hug. I felt embarrassed at myself for being nervous. I felt proud of her for having fun. Then I swiped again. There's a kind of photo you can't unsee because the story it tells is simple and total. Kylie in a dark club, veil askew. That same veil I'd ironed before she packed it. Her face is half lit by purple. She's kissing someone. Not a cheek kiss. Not a "we're so crazy" stage kiss. A 2 hands on neck, eyes closed, mouth open kiss that you can feel even in pixels. My stomach got very quiet. I pinched to zoom. The photographer had caught it from the side, the way professionals do. Somehow both candid and intimate. On the guy's wrist, a thick leather watch band. On his forearm, a tattoo. A compass rose I've never seen, but one I would now recognize in a crowd of 1,000 arms. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe it was a dare photo. Maybe my fiancée had just been captured in the worst possible angle in the worst possible second, and the rest of the night would prove this was nothing. Then I swiped again. Kylie's head is back, laughing, glitter on her collarbone, and the guy's hand is on her waist, his face buried in her neck. The background is a blur of lights and raised phones and a neon sign that says, "Sinners welcome." Tessa is in the background looking at them, and this is the part that broke something in me. Not shocked, not confused, just watchful. Like a spotter, like someone making sure the bride doesn't trip while she does exactly what she came to do. I felt that cold from the tile creep higher. I clicked View All and scrolled down through the thumbnails like a person skimming through their own autopsy report. Photo after photo of staged joy. Then a cluster marked with a little lock icon overlay. Private gallery. Password required. I looked back at the email. There was a second password below the first, like a footnote. Private password. Tessa says behave. My hands shook so hard I mistyped it twice. The gallery opened to what looked like an after party in a suite. The lighting was hotel soft and wrong. Neon sign propped against a wall. Shots poured into plastic cups. 2 girls in sashes asleep on a couch. Kylie perched on the edge of a bed, her veil off, hair down, mascara smudged in a way that made me want to wipe her face and end her at the same time. The compass tattoo guy sitting close. Too close. A short burst of 4 photos taken in succession, the way photogs do when they know the moment is moving. In the first, she's touching the tattoo on his arm, saying something, her mouth close to his skin like she's reading it. In the second, he's saying something back against her ear. In the third, her eyes close. In the fourth, they are kissing again, slower, like the world has now agreed to what they're doing. I don't know how long I sat on the kitchen floor, the iPad heavy in my palms, as my dog pressed her warm head against my knee, and the house hummed along, unaware. I might have whispered no out loud. It feels like a word that lives in the room with those pictures. At 2:09 a.m., another email landed. Same sender. Subject: additional selects for bride's private album. The body said, per request, unfiltered selects not to be shared on public socials. There was a third password. Kylie and Lee. I stared at the keyboard for a very long time. This was no longer an accident of shared email. This was a different door, the kind you only open, knowing you will not be able to close it behind you. I typed the password. The album was smaller, only 12 photos. Each one felt like stepping off a curb you didn't see. Kylie in the bathroom mirror with the compass tattoo guy in the background, shirt off, blurry. Kylie's hand on the camera, like she's reaching to cover the lens, and also not. A close-up of 2 hands intertwined, her engagement ring glinting like it was trying to help. A bedhead corner, a heel kicked off, her veil in the sink. The last photo was nothing but ceiling and a smear of light, and somewhere in it, a strand of her hair across the frame like a comet. The kind of shot that happens when someone drops a phone onto a bed, drunk, laughing, not thinking about the person 400 miles away who has planned a wedding playlist in a notes app and alphabetized RSVPs. My body did something I've only felt once before, when a doctor told me something scary and then said it was actually fine. The adrenaline dump, the shaking, the weird desire to scrub my skin off. I closed the iPad. I put it on the counter carefully, like I'd set down a hot pan. I went to the sink and let the water run until it was almost too hot to touch, then splashed my face and watched myself not cry. At 2:27 a.m., my phone buzzed. Kylie, you up? Then, you're going to laugh at me. We got a suite upgrade because the pool heater broke, and Tessa wrote a complaint like she was suing their ancestors. A photo of a generic, nice hotel room, the kind PR would send you if you asked, what does a suite look like? No people, no compass. I typed nothing. I put the phone face down. I walked Pepper in my pajama pants around the block, while the city did that weird late-night quiet, where everything sounds both far away and too close. I came back, sat on the couch, and watched our plants look like midnight sculptures. I stared at the wall where our wedding save-the-date magnetized our calendar like a dare. At 3:04 a.m., I forwarded the email with the private album to myself, to my personal email, because some part of me knew that when morning came, I would try to convince myself I had dreamed it. I also BCC'd my sister, because I am weak, and I needed a witness who loved me enough to break the glass if I tried to stay inside the burning building. I did not sleep. At 6:18 a.m., Pepper barked at the mail slot like it had personally wronged her. The world was bright again, which felt rude. At 8:41 a.m., my sister called. She didn't say hello. She said, I'm coming over. Do not do anything dramatic, and do not text her a single word. At 10:12 a.m., Tessa posted a story. The group at the airport in sunglasses, captioned, whatever happens in Vegas, and a zipper mouth emoji. I felt something primitive in my chest that I do not recommend. At 11:03 a.m., Kylie's text. Boarding. Back to you and Pepper soon. Miss your face. I stared at the screen until the letters became just shapes. Then I put my phone down next to the ring I had picked out with hands that thought they knew the shape of my life. You can probably guess what part 2 is. It's the airport. It's the door opening. It's a hug that is not a hug. It's my voice trying on a sentence I never thought I'd say. We need to talk about what happened in Vegas. If you want out, this would be a good place to exit the ride. If you want the whole ugly thing, the thing about secrets is they don't die in Vegas. They hitch a ride home, tucked into suitcases between novelty shot glasses and sequined dresses, invisible until the zipper opens. That Sunday, I was sitting on the couch when Kylie texted, "Landed. Be home in 40. Can't wait to see you and Pepper." I stared at it, feeling like my body was made of 2 separate people. The one who should have been excited to see his fiancée after a trip, and the one who knew too much. She walked in like nothing was wrong. Airport hair, oversized hoodie, suitcase thumping behind her. Pepper lost her mind, tail wagging so hard she looked like she might lift off the ground. Kylie knelt, laughing, letting herself get smothered in dog kisses. Then she stood and hugged me. I let her. My arms wrapped around her out of habit. But it wasn't a hug. It was surveillance. My face pressed against her hair, smelling that new perfume again. Only now it was mixed with something sharper, like stale hotel air and guilt. She pulled back, smiling, eyes soft. God, I missed you. And here's the thing. She meant it. That was the worst part. She missed me. She loved me. And she had still kissed someone else in Vegas. We sat at the kitchen counter while she unpacked stories the way she unpacked her bag. Quickly, carelessly, filling the air with noise. Dinner at Beauty in Essex so good. The show was insane. Cirque on steroids. Tessa almost lost her phone in the pool. We got no sleep, I swear. Total chaos, but fun chaos. She slid her phone across the counter to show me a group selfie. All of them grinning. Neon glow sticks. A caption that said, "Porn mom bride vibes." Carefully curated. "Anything wild happen?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She shook her head, smiling. "Just the usual. You know Tessa. She got us into every place like she's a bouncer's cousin. But no, nothing crazy." The first lie. Clean, confident. Later, when she was tossing laundry in the hamper, I leaned against the doorway and asked, "Who's the guy with the compass tattoo?" She froze. Not for long, just half a second. But I caught it. Then she turned, brow furrowed. "What?" "The guy in some of the photos. Big leather watch, compass tattoo." She blinked, then laughed, too loud. "Oh, that's just one of Tessa's cousins. He met us out one night. Super harmless. Married, I think." "Why?" The second lie. Sloppier. I didn't tell her what I knew yet. I didn't mention the gallery, the private album, the bathroom mirror photo. I wanted to see how far she'd go. She kept talking, filling silence with details she thought would convince me. How he was just around. How he bought a round of drinks. How she barely noticed him. Meanwhile, I remembered her mouth on his in 2 separate frames. I remembered her ring flashing in that close-up of their hands. I didn't call her out. Not yet. That evening my phone buzzed. A text from Tessa. "Hey, just checking in. Kylie said you might be feeling weird about Vegas. Just want to reassure you everything was innocent. Promise. You know how photos can look misleading. Don't let it stress you. You guys are solid." PR mode. Cleanup mode. Damage control. They must have known the proofs got sent to our email. I didn't reply, but I took a screenshot. That night, Kylie curled up against me on the couch, head on my chest, like nothing had shifted. My hand rested on her shoulder automatically. The TV played some sitcom laugh track. My body went through the motions of comfort. But inside, I was screaming. At 11:32 p.m., she fell asleep against me. I sat there, staring at her, the rise and fall of her breath. And I thought, she is lying in my arms and lying to my face at the same time. I carried her to bed, laid her down gently, watched her roll onto her side, murmuring my name in her sleep. Then I went back to the living room, opened my laptop, and queued up the email. The photos glowed on the screen again. And I knew. Tomorrow, I'd stop pretending. Morning arrived with the kind of silence that feels staged. No traffic noise, No neighbor's kid banging on the walls, just a stillness that made my skin itch. I'd been awake since before dawn, sitting at the kitchen table with the iPad in front of me, the email open, the photos like a loaded weapon. Kylie padded in barefoot, hair a mess, wearing one of my t-shirts. She yawned, smiled, kissed my cheek on autopilot, and reached for the coffee pot. Like nothing had happened, like the world wasn't split in half. I said, "Sit down." She blinked, mug in hand. Okay. She sat across from me, pulling her knees up into the chair like she always does. She looked soft, comfortable, the person I was supposed to marry in less than 6 months. I turned the iPad toward her. Her face changed in stages. Confusion first, then recognition, then something colder. Calculation. Wow, okay, that's not what it looks like. Classic opener. She laughed, thin, high-pitched. Seriously, it was a joke, a dare. The girls hyped it up. You know how those nights get. I didn't speak, just let the silence stretch. Her eyes flicked to me, gauging. Okay, yes, I kissed him. Once. Stupid. Meaningless. Everyone was drunk. It was nothing. Still, I didn't speak. Her shoulders tightened. Fine, twice. But it didn't mean anything. He's nobody. Just some guy. I don't even know his last name. I tapped the screen, sliding to the private gallery. Her breath caught. The bathroom photo. The hands intertwined. The bed. The veil in the sink. Her voice broke. Okay, it went further. But it was Vegas. It didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything? My voice sounded foreign to me. Flat. Dead. You had another man's hands on you while you wore the ring I gave you. You kissed him in front of your friends. You brought him back to a hotel room. And you're telling me it didn't mean anything? Tears came fast. She reached across the table. I pulled my hands back like she'd burned me. I love you, she said. It was a mistake. A one-time mistake. Please, please, don't throw us away over one stupid weekend. One stupid weekend. I stood, shoving the chair back. We're supposed to be planning a wedding, a marriage, a life, and you chose to do that. Her tears doubled. I don't know why I did it. It was pressure, it was the atmosphere, it was a choice, I cut in. Every time, every kiss, every touch, every lie since. She folded, sobbing into her hands. Finally, she whispered, "He doesn't matter. I don't even remember his name." But she flinched when I said, "The guy with the compass tattoo." Her silence told me everything. She remembered. She knew. She thought she could bury it under glitter and excuses. I walked to the bedroom, opened the drawer, and pulled out the ring box. Set it on the table in front of her. "This was supposed to be forever," I said. "Now it's just a reminder." Her hand reached for it like she wanted to clutch it to her chest, but I closed the box and pulled it back. "No, you don't get this." She sobbed harder, sliding down in her chair, begging me to forgive, to forget, to move past it. But I couldn't. The images were branded into my brain. The lies tasted metallic in my mouth. So I walked out, left her there at the table, crying into her hands, while the coffee went cold between us. Leaving the apartment should have felt like freedom. Instead, it felt like walking into a storm without an umbrella. Every step away from her was heavy, like my shoes had been poured full of cement. I didn't have a plan beyond get out. But betrayal doesn't stay locked in one kitchen. It leaks, spreads, contaminates. And soon everyone around us was forced into the fallout. I crashed at my sister's place that night. She took one look at my face, no questions asked, handed me a blanket and a beer. Only after Pepper curled up at my feet did she say, "It's her, isn't it?" I nodded. She already knew. I'd sent her the photos at 3 a.m. in a panic. She hugged me so tight my ribs hurt. The next morning, she posted herself at brunch with a cryptic caption, something about family over everything. Within hours, half our friend group was texting me. "What's going on?" Word was spreading. Tessa called me 3 times. I didn't answer. On the 4th, I picked up. Her voice was syrupy, the kind people use when they're selling snake oil. "Hey, so listen. I think you might be overreacting a little. Kylie made a mistake, yes, but it was a bachelorette trip. Things happen. It doesn't mean she doesn't love you." I nearly laughed. "You were there. You watched. You let it happen." She sighed, annoyed now. I was trying to keep the vibe light. Everyone knew it was harmless. "Harmless?" I spat. "She slept with another man while wearing my ring." Silence. Then, defensive. "It was Vegas. That's different." That line would echo in my head for weeks. It was Vegas. As if geography erased choices. When my parents found out, my mother cried so hard she could barely breathe. "We loved her," she said, clutching her chest. She was family. My dad was quiet, just nodded once. Later, he told me, "It's better you found out now than after the vows." Practical, brutal, true. Kylie's family reached out too. Her mother left a voicemail, her voice shaking. "We didn't know, we swear. We're so sorry." Her sister sent a long text blaming the party culture of Vegas. Excuses layered on excuses. None of it mattered. The damage was done. And then, the man with the compass tattoo got a name. One of Kylie's bridesmaids, maybe out of guilt, maybe out of spite, DM'd me. His name is Ryan. He's a bartender they met Friday night. Local guy, hangs around the strip. This isn't the first time he's done this with bridal parties. That line gutted me. Kylie wasn't special to him. She wasn't swept away in some cinematic romance. She was just another bride-to-be in a veil, another notch on his compass. And she still chose him over me. By the end of the week, the wedding was off. Vendors called, confused. Deposits gone. Invitations unsent. Friends whispered. Some unfriended Kylie immediately. Others hovered in awkward silence, unwilling to pick a side. I boxed up the save the dates, the carefully folded seating chart, the stupid Chiavari chair samples Kylie had argued for. Shoved them all into the back of a closet like burying a body. Kylie showed up at my sister's door one night, mascara streaked, eyes swollen. She begged for 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She knelt in front of me, clutching my hands. "Please, please don't let one night erase 4 years. I love you. It didn't mean anything. I swear I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." Her tears were real. Her voice shook. For a second, I almost broke. Almost. But then I saw it again in my head. Her hand on his arm, her ring flashing in the camera. I pulled my hands back. "You already spent the rest of our life. In Vegas. With him." She sobbed, but I didn't move. After 10 minutes, my sister escorted her out. That was the last time I saw her in person. By the end of the month, the engagement was over in every practical sense. Vendors canceled, families informed, social media scrubbed. But the fallout lingered. Whispers in friend groups, pitying looks at work. Even Pepper looked at me sometimes, like she knew something was wrong. I wasn't angry anymore. Just empty. After the dust of betrayal settles, you're left standing in a landscape that doesn't look like your life anymore. Same apartment, same dog, same furniture, but everything feels off, like someone shifted it all 3 inches to the left. That's what the weeks after the implosion were like. Nothing felt real. The ring haunted me. It sat in a little velvet box on my dresser, silent and smug, like it was mocking me for ever believing in forever. I couldn't throw it out, couldn't sell it, couldn't even hide it. One night, I took it down to the park by the river, stood on the bridge, box in hand, staring at the black water below. It would have been so easy to let it drop, to watch it vanish into the current like the life I thought I had. But I didn't. Because in some twisted way, that ring wasn't just about her. It was about me. About how much I believed, how much I wanted. Throwing it away felt like throwing away the part of myself that was still capable of hope. So I kept it. A reminder. Not of her, but of what I survived. My sister bullied me into therapy. I walked into that beige office with my arms crossed, ready to scoff at whatever platitudes the stranger had for me. Instead, the therapist just asked one question. "When did you realize you stopped trusting her?" And that broke me. Because the truth was, the moment I saw those photos, something inside me snapped clean in half. I would never look at her face the same way again. That realization was harder to carry than the betrayal itself. The social split was brutal. Some friends rallied around me, dropping by with pizza and cheap whiskey, talking trash about Kylie until I almost laughed. Others drifted toward her, buying into her narrative of, "It was a mistake. not a betrayal. I stopped caring who believed what. If someone thought cheating at a bachelorette party was excusable, they weren't my people anyway. Work was strange. I thought I was hiding it well, but apparently, your fiancé cheated with a Vegas bartender shows on your face. My boss pulled me aside one day and said, "Take the time you need." So I did. I buried myself in projects, worked late, filled the hours so I wouldn't have to think. But sometimes, sitting in the glow of my laptop at midnight, I'd catch myself typing her name into a document before deleting it. Muscle memory. Of all people, Jason, the guy she almost married instead of me, reached out. He'd heard through the grapevine. His text was short. "Dodged a bullet, huh?" I didn't answer right away. But later, when the anger dulled, I sent back. More like a grenade. But yeah, we weren't friends. We weren't enemies either. Just two men linked by the same landmine. Weeks turned into months. The whispers faded. Kylie moved out of state. Her social media went private. And me? I started breathing again. Small things at first. Coffee that actually tasted good. A song on the radio that didn't sting. The way Pepper's tail wagged like nothing in the world had changed. It wasn't healing. Not really. More like scar tissue forming where the wound had been. Not pretty. Not the same. But stronger. Sometimes, late at night, I replay it all in my head. The rooftop photos. The compass tattoo. The lies spilling from her lips at my kitchen table. And I wonder, if the email had never come, would I still be planning a wedding right now? Would I still be blind, smiling, pouring money into a future that was already dead? The answer chills me. Because yes, I probably would have. Which means that, in the ugliest way possible, Vegas saved me.